My name is Carrie Seaburn. I am a structural engineer for Vector Collaborative. I am also the curator of the Unboxing Project. So this is something that I just started where I interview people in STEM fields, which stands for science, technology, engineering, and math, with goals of promoting diversity and exposing kids like yourself to STEM fields. One, no 2 days are ever the same. So I'm still learning, I'm still learning new things. It's not something that you master in 2 weeks and then you're on autopilot for the rest of your life. I still am learning new things every single day. And so that's one of my favorite things. And then also human connection. So going out and meeting with clients and talking with people and helping them solve issues that they have. That's one of the most exciting things about my job too. So I would say those two things are the two things that I love most about what I do. And the hardest thing is when you have a small business, you can't really turn off and on the faucet of business. So you can't really control when people are going to call and need your services or when they're not. So we've been very fortunate that we stay busy and that we get, a lot of work in the door, but sometimes it ends up being too much. The entrepreneurship, I have always loved crafting things and kind of taking my own path, I guess. So that has been something that has really driven me too, is just the ability to kind of craft something that fits best for me. Being able to take complex problems and boil them into smaller bites, smaller solvable bites. So sometimes you get a problem and it seems multifaceted and it's very complex, but you can always separate it into smaller pieces that are more manageable. And it's that separating part that leads you to success in solving the whole problem. So if you can just put one foot in front of the other, you're making progress. So instead of getting overwhelmed by the whole picture, sometimes you just have to focus on those smaller bites one at a time. I think for you guys, for kids, I think it's so important to expose yourself just like you're doing now. Expose yourself to people with different careers and see if you can see yourself doing those types of things. Really, you have to feel it in yourself as far as if it's a good fit. The other thing I always recommend to kids is to ask if you can shadow. I know right now it's a super weird time with the virus and with social distancing and everything, but you can always have a video call like this with anyone in any field that you think you might be interested in. Nobody is going to seek you out for those opportunities. You have to seek out those opportunities. So if there's something that you think you might be interested in, reach out to someone in that field and just quiz them, ask these questions just like you're doing now and see if you see yourself in that career path. So I went to school in Brookings, South Dakota at South Dakota State University and got a bachelor's degree in civil engineering, specializing in structure. And they actually have a very good engineering program and they compete nationally with some of the best schools in the nation. I would say one of my favorite things about that was that it was a smaller program. So my graduating class of civil engineers, we had about 50 some kids in our class. So it was a very hands-on program. And really another favorite thing would be just developing friendships. So there were a group of 6 or 7 of us girls we weren't all exactly the same age, but all in civil engineering, and we're still friends to this day. So we still try and break away from obligations and go on little trips here and there and try to maintain that friendship. That is a great question. No 2 weeks are ever the same. I can predict what my week is going to look like on Monday. And I bet if I were to give a report on Friday, it never looks exactly like that because I never know what phone calls are going to come in. Lately I've been dealing a lot with trees that have fallen on structures with the big storm that we had. a month ago, I would have never predicted that I was doing stuff like that. I get energized by meeting and talking with other people. So how I typically try to structure it now is I'm in the office Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday I'll go out and meet with people. So I'll have my meetings and site visits and things that I need to do out in the field that on that Wednesday, or at least one day a week, and then in the office for the other 2 days. So I just got back from Colorado hiking, so I like to go hiking in the mountains. That's a super fun thing that I like to do. I also like yoga, so I have a pretty regular yoga practice. I like to meditate. I like to read. I also like art. Like, I love looking at art. I have a pottery wheel, so I like to do different things on that. I also really like interior design, so I like to kind of organize my house and lay it out. But I like that balance of left and right brain. So my career is very logical based, but it still needs creativity. So I find if I have these hobbies that are more on the creative side, it creates opportunities to think creatively and come up with new ideas for my logical career path. Then one of my first projects out of college was an elementary school out in Denver. And I got to get my picture taken with the governor for the topping out, or for the last, when they were ready to open the building. He was there and I got my picture taken. I think that's one of the proudest things too, is being able to help someone with these, with their dreams, and see it all come to fruition. Critical thinking, for sure. So being able to think critically. Math skills are important as well. And then just being able to break down challenging concepts, being able to break them down into simpler, smaller ideals. It was very important for me to be self-sufficient. So it was important for me to pick a career that would be able to support me and my family, and also a career that would weather the times with the economy. So with civil engineering, even in bad economies, the world still needs civil engineers. It's an ongoing job. And one of the big things too was just helping people. Like, I wanted to help people, and I wanted to have a skill set that people needed and that they valued. So that's kind of, some of the things that led me into civil engineering. I think one thing that happened was I was out in Denver in 2008 during the recession, and the economy was really bad at that time. And we had layoffs with our company or whatever. So they ended up laying off over half of our department, and I was part of the third round of layoffs. So invention is born out of necessity. So in that time is when I started, that's kind of when the seed was planted for my own business and starting doing my own things. So if I didn't have that layoff, there's a large chance that I would have never started my own business. Hard decision in the first few years of starting my own business was sticking with it, because it took a good 3 to 4 years for my business to become profitable and to be able to be self-sustaining and to make money. Technology, I guess in my head, would be something that is always changing. So new technology is happening all the time. So, that seems like that's probably pretty fast moving. But engineering is also fast moving. And the math side of things, numbers, right? So that's typically where you go to with that one. But there's so many different things that you can do with that, with the math side of things too. So, a lot of times I think all of those things tend to be pigeonholed into kind of logical career paths.